Hello, everyone, and welcome to the League of American Bicyclists webinar, What It Means to Be a Cycling Educator. This webinar is being recorded and will be made available on our YouTube channel. If you'd like to enable closed captions for this webinar, you can do so by clicking the CC button in the participant controls that appear at the bottom of your screen. My name is Riley Teitelbaum. And I am the Education and Summit Coordinator for the League of American Bicyclists. We have three great, knowledgeable speakers for you today, all of whom are league cycling coaches. League cycling coaches are the League of American Bicyclists trainers of trainers. They are the facilitators of our cycling instructor certification seminars that happen around the country. To date, we have certified over 7,500 league cycling instructors. We can only do that with the help of coaches like these three. Today, you will hear about what it means to be a cycling educator from Diana Hildebrand from Bike Cleveland and DevahD Cycling, Leta Marie Highsmith from New Haven Coalition for Active Transportation, and Neil Walker, who owns and runs Cycles and Change. All three are active LCIs in their communities and active coaches for the League of American Bicyclists. If you have any questions for our speakers, you can enter them in the chat and Q&A function. We will answer as many questions as we have time for at the end of the presentation. It's better to type in your questions when it occurs to you rather than wait until the end. Diana will start us off with a land acknowledgement and then continue into her presentation. Leta will speak second, followed by Neil. Diana, take us away.
Thank you. We would like to give acknowledgement and honor to all the ancestral stewards of this land on which we meet today and their descendants, living in over 1,000 tribes, nations, bands, pueblos, communities, or native villages. The people who speak almost as many different languages as there are tribes are the contemporary custodians of this land. I would also like to give a great appreciation to the League of American Bicyclists, Executive Director Bill Nesper, Director of Education, Allison Dewey, lab staff, and all those that keep the League of American Bicyclists flowing. This includes sponsors, donors, and all the organizations that are associated with lab. I would also like to send a special thank you to our presenters, my friends and colleagues, Neil Walker and Leta Highsmith. With all of us in the conversation, we know that those that are watching or listening are in for a real treat. Earlier this year, the League of American Bicyclists offered a webinar on how to host an LCI seminar in your community, which was recorded on January 16th, 2024. For those that are watching or listening, that are not quite ready to take the leap to becoming a league cycling instructor, you can definitely reach out to your local bike pedestrian organization to discuss ways to bring a seminar to your community. Later in this presentation, you will be able to view the links to access lab's previously recorded webinars and the webinar schedule. Now on to this session, the value of bike education. The value of bike education, you will be able to learn about bike infrastructure. By doing so, this will better support your efforts to advocate for your community locally and statewide. This also provides better understanding of the community needs to begin or continue the conversation about safe streets while supporting the various forms of mobility. Gain confidence in teaching. And for your community, it would allow for more educational resources and classes for drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians. You can become the bike ambassador for the League of American Bicyclists and your local bike pedestrian organization. This can help with the establishment of more bicycle-friendly communities near you. Support your local LCIs or coaches, including your bike and pedestrian organization. The work can be extensive. And with more LCIs, you will be able to spread the wealth and change more lives 2 wheels at a time. I personally believe that working together, we can begin to implement bike education everywhere, specifically within schools as an after-school program alternative or camps. Next slide, please. Also, with the value of bike education, you will gain the knowledge of smart cycling and its curricula, such as bicycle-friendly driver, learning about e-bikes or teaching about e-bikes, bike education for all, that means young and seasoned, learn to ride for youth and adults, and so much more. Next slide. So what are the key attributes of an LCI? The key attributes to consider when thinking about becoming a good LCI is having the ability to be a positive yet stern mentor and teacher, having the ability to work alongside other bike educators, being organized while being a good deliverer and receiver of constructive feedback. This also means that it is very important to be patient, be a motivator and cheerleader while getting others excited and passionate about biking, advocating for biking pedestrian mobility and safe streets for all. Make sure to value your students, as it would be the future in creating a community we are all seeking by creating a safe social environment for learning, showing the respect you want your students to show you, remain professional at all times, and the ability to provide positive and, like stated earlier, firm feedback, as we are seeking to create a culture where we are being sought out to be the bike educators your community needs. Next slide, please. So how do you get started? First, make sure that this is the route you want to take. Becoming a lead cycling instructor is showing us that you are interested in teaching others from how to get started with cycling to safe cycling skills, but also that you have a passion for this work. Once you know that you are interested in becoming a lead cycling instructor, go to the LEAD website to find a seminar near you. It is highly recommended that you begin to follow the prerequisites guidelines, which is 3 to 6 months to help you successfully enter the seminar. As the seminars are scheduled at least 6 to 9 months of the scheduled weekend, and finding an LCI or a local organization to teach the smart cycling prereqs could take some time depending on where you are located and the LCI's availability. Prerequisites are as follows. Complete your online or in-person smart cycling session, which includes your road test, and pass with an 85% or higher. These sessions can happen simultaneously or scheduled individually. And also prepare to spend about 3 to 4 hours for these activities. It is also recommended to seek out a knowledgeable LCI that has experience offering smart cycling 101 and road assessments. This information can be located on the league's website under Find a Class or Instructor. Once successfully completed, you should register for the seminar, but keep practicing the skills, as they will be handy once you enter the seminar. After registering, you will receive a confirmation letter. This letter has very important information, so I suggest printing it out, starting the email, or creating a folder to keep track of your LCI seminar emails, links, and downloads. The information that you receive when you receive this email will offer the dates of your seminar, your pre-assessment answer sheet, in which you would need to get an 85% or higher to enter the seminar. And for you to do so, unfortunately, if you don't return your assessment in time to the coach, it could possibly void your interest into the seminar, or you will be transferred to another scheduled seminar at a later date. You will also begin to receive email correspondence from your coaches and or their site facilitator. This information is your introduction letter, to the seminar, which includes emails and phone numbers, your individual presentation assignments, and your group assignments, information including your partner's name and email. Next slide, please. The seminar is a 2.5-day, 23-hour weekend filled with activities and will be led and facilitated by your coach. Come prepared to learn. The LCI Candidate Seminar is about learning how to ride bike, handling skills, role positioning, being a good listener, how to manage time, working with others, learning and understanding the learning styles of students that will be attending your sessions, and promoting yourself or organization. Make sure to come with all the necessary equipment that has been requested from your coach, but also use your thinking cap. This is a weekend focused on bike education, and we will be in class and on bike. Think about what you would need to be successful for the entire weekend. This also includes looking towards the future when you begin to teach. Bring a bicycle that you are most comfortable with when riding. We strongly encourage bicycles with gears, as you will be showing us that you know how to shift your gears. Plus, throughout the weekend, we will be riding on the road, which we all know no road is left behind because there is something called inclines and elevation. During the seminar weekend, candidates will be assessed. This includes your presentation, class participation, time management, on-road and parking lot activities. Remember earlier when I stated keep practicing. Knowing what to do when you get into the seminar will help you be successful and receive your certification. Next slide. Participants of the seminar will also receive and give feedback on both individual and group presentations. This also includes your coach and site facilitator. Your feedback matters, so help improve how you teach, learn, and adjust. Candidates have the opportunity to be certified after the seminar or will be requested to seek remediation if improvement is needed. Coaches will work with you to either find a local qualified LCI to assist if you're not within the seminar location, or will meet with you to finalize your certification. One final thing, once you become certified, please keep practicing on the skills offered. This will make you a better candidate to offer smart cycling, road assessments, planning your sessions or group activities. Also, by doing this, it will make you a candidate to gain other certifications because you have gained the skills needed to continue your education and one day become a coach like myself, Leta, and Neil. Next, you will hear from Leta Highsmith on why you should become an LCI and more. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. That was great. So, why become an LCI? The League of American Bicyclists is a nationally recognized organization. So receiving certification from the league as an LCI will give you credibility to work within your bicycling community. You can be a stronger bicycle advocate in your community, state, city, organization. And you're also part of a large network of bicycling educators. We're over 7,500 strong and growing, and that's a wonderful place to be. And also, you become an excellent facilitator for those organizations, communities, civic offices, etc., that want to participate in the Bicycle Friendly America program. Because you've gone through the LCI training, you're very familiar with what is needed. So to become an LCI, you can work in other areas besides bicycling education. Next, please. So the value of being an LCI, first and foremost, when you're teaching classes, you are eligible for insurance. You get $1 million worth of coverage per occurrence. Details are in the LCI portal, which you will have access to upon becoming an LCI. The things you must do to qualify for insurance, first and foremost, post your classes on the league website. I can't stress that enough. Post your classes on the league website. When your classes are filling, you're going to be collecting registration forms, either through the league website or your own website, however you've chosen to set this up. Whichever you choose to do, you must collect those waivers and they must be turned into the league. And then you must agree to uphold the LCI Code of Ethics. You sign that when you apply to the seminar. You will sign that upon becoming certified or recommended for certification as an LCI. And you will have to uphold this Code of Ethics as you're teaching. And then during your class, you have to teach the need to knows. And again, once you take an LCI seminar course, you will know those need to knows and you will just be able to recite them in your sleep because they will be ingrained into you. And it's important, to keep you safe and your students safe. Next slide, please. So, creating your own business. Some of you may choose not to work with an organization or as an advocate, you might want to put your own shingle up on your door and start your own business. So start with a plan. You have to have a plan. And you could reach out to local business incubators. What we featured here is Concorp. It's an organization in Hamden, Connecticut, and they are a business incubator, and there are many throughout your communities in the state. And then you must resolve all the must-dos to start your business. So for example, you will have to complete your paperwork, do your research. What kind of market am I going to be in? Do I need financing? How am I going to line up that financing? What are the legal permits that have to happen? You have to apply for state and federal IDs, identification, permits, etc. So those are things that are important that you do as you're thinking about becoming a business. Next slide, please. So we've talked about researching your business, writing your business plan, your funding resources. So what comes next? As you create your business, you invested in you. You have the potential to earn dollars, and you can teach if you wish to do that, or you can grow your business in any direction. You can teach smart cycling classes, you could teach bike maintenance classes, you can open up a shop, whatever you choose to do. But there's the touchy-feely side of a business too. For example, you must maintain a good balance between your professional business and your personal life. You must keep an accurate scorecard of how your students are progressing, how your business is progressing, your finances. Are you making money? Are you losing money? How do you adjust? You must delight the customer, and Diana alluded this before. Treat your students with respect, your customers with respect, value them as you want them to be valued, as you want to be valued. And with your own business, there are times when you're going to have to make critical decisions with the limited resources that you have. You have to have a strong vision and the courage to see it through. You have to develop a reputation for integrity, honesty, safety, whatever those things are that you are building your business on. Get famous, get known for them. And then you have to nurture sustainable relationships. In short, don't burn your bridges as you go along. Work with your community. They may not agree with you. An organization or a town meeting may be at odds at what you're trying to achieve, but work your plan. Just work your plan. Thank you. Let's go on to the next slide. So creating your business, here's an example of a young lady who was certified this spring, and she has elected to part-time open her business. So she's created business cards, flyers, she's out doing community events. So this is a great way to get yourself out there and recognized. Next slide, please. Here we have two gentlemen. This is the Devil's Gear Bike Shop. They're in New Haven, Connecticut. They own a bike shop. Several years into the bike shop, they decide, you know what? We're going to become LCIs. They are LCIs. Their staff are LCIs. Their mechanic, their salespeople, all LCIs. And they're out there, you know, on the local radio shows, local news events. And they are just thriving, and they're looking to expand, which is very exciting. Neil, it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Leta. So one of the most important aspects of the LCI seminar, after you have gone through 2 days of on bike and in class training, presentations, on the last day, we do what's called a marketing exercise. The marketing exercise is really where we look at possibilities or ideas moving out of the LCI seminar as you go back to your city or your state or to your local community. There's exercises that take, this marketing exercise takes place so that when you leave the class and you're certified, you can hit the ground running. As Leta eloquently talked about, there's opportunity to create a business. I'm going to talk about different ways in which you can market yourself. But I've been very fortunate in the years that I've been a coach is through some of these marketing exercises, there have been individuals that have come up with some great plans or ideas. And I'm very fortunate to be able to go back to those cities because those ideas came to fruition and they are now programs or activities in their communities or the areas in which these LCIs are operating. So one of the things that I've benefited from greatly is bike education in school. As you can see on this slide, we have a few links. There's recently a webinar that was produced by the League that had 4 great presenters from various parts of the country talking about biking education in school. So I won't elaborate on the things that they touched on. You can go onto the link. There's a YouTube link here, as well as the webinar slides if you didn't get a chance to be a part of that. But this really goes into detail. But what I will say is, with my experience, school systems can be disparate, or school principals, PTAs can be varying depending on where you live. There may be people that are for biking as well as people that are against it. But one of the things that I find to be very helpful is to connect with your local Safe Routes to School coordinator. Safe Routes to School is a national organization that creates opportunities to connect with healthy and sustainable ways to walk and bike to school. By partnering with that Safe Route to School coordinator, not only will there be possible opportunities for programming, but there may also be some funding that will help you get established and create those relationships with the school. There may not be a connection with the school in where you live, where you may want to see a bike program, but I think it all starts with connecting with your local principal, talking with people that are on staff that may have an interest in biking, as well as maybe connecting with some of the youth and saying, hey, I see you ride your bike to school. We want to create a club here. So there are many ways in which getting bike education in school, and as an LCI, this is a great opportunity for you to connect with other educators. Remember, as an LCI, you are a lead educator in bicycling. So your knowledge and expertise is so much needed. Next slide, please. Also, in bike, you can also do things such as, I've been fortunate to be involved with events such as bring your family fun day, or ride your bike to school day. We do bike training. So there are, even if you are not in the school doing bike education, there are activities that can be organized by parents as well as after school programs. One of the programs that currently that are part of that you'll see in the bike education webinar is a program called Outride. Outride has been growing by leaps and bounds in middle schools around the country, where not only they provide bike education during phys ed class, but they also provide you with all the necessary equipment, such as bicycles, helmets, everything that you need to have successful class. So again, bike education in school can look different. It can look like can we go to the next slide, please? It can look like an after school program. It can look like a non-binary bike team. It can look like a race team. There are so many things. Again, although, like I said, bike education in school looks different, depends on where you are. Although you may not be able to get, if you cannot get an outright grant, there's opportunities to do after school bike clubs. There's opportunities to create race teams. The bottom line, you as the LCI have the, or the, I don't want to say, yeah, you're the professional. We're bike education professionals, and your expertise is needed on all levels to make sure that biking is safe in school, after school, but making sure that we are introducing bicycling to these people at, I feel, at a very early age, to get them out of the mindset that a car is the only means of transportation. But for a lot of our young people, a bicycle is a great way not only to see your city and your community, but also give you a safe route to get to the library. If mom and dad are working and you have to go get a project done, you can ride your bike to the library using some of the some of the infrastructure, as well as learning the right way to ride on the street. Next slide, please. One of the other things I've benefited from greatly, and you can too as an LCI, is partnering with your local bike advocacy organization. I've lived in Atlanta, I've lived in New York, I've lived in Pittsburgh, and everywhere I've gone, I make sure I become a member of my local bike advocacy group. Here where I live in the city of Pittsburgh, and I am a member of Bike Pittsburgh. And Bike Pittsburgh has been really, it's been a great organization, and most bike advocacy organizations focus on community, educating, and advocating for safe routes or safe roads from which you can ride on. Also, they focus on educating motorists as well. So let's not leave that out. That's a very important part, I think, as an LCI, that we can, I think earlier in the slides, we saw the bike-friendly driver, and I think when Diana was talking, is one of the courses at the League of American Bicyclists. I think as an LCI, that's a very important thing moving forward, that we start educating our drivers on how to navigate the road, sharing it with bicyclists. So here in the city of Pittsburgh, we do a number of activities with our local bike organization. One of them being Open Streets. At the Open Streets event, I'm constantly participating as a cycle instructor. I particularly work in the kids zone. For those, my colleagues and people at the league know, I love working with youth. So I'm always working in the kids zone. The other opportunity that I have as an LCI here in the city, and also in your city by connecting with your local bike advocacy group, is most of them are offering classes. So they're looking for qualified instructors. They're looking for people who are educators that can teach those classes. There's usually a large request that come in, whether it's coming in from your local universities, from businesses, or other organizations like multiple sclerosis charity rides, that often are looking for educators to educate their riders, making sure that everybody is safe while they're raising funds for a particular ride. Again, one of the things you can do with your local bike advocacy organization and through the league, we have now offering our Learn to Ride for youth and adults. So great opportunity to get out there, connect with them through your local bike organization, as well as Leta talked about when you start your own business. When you start your own business, you may be able to do private lessons. It's been one of the things that I've benefited from throughout my career, and really that's why I created my own business, Cycles and Change. The other aspect of being involved with or partnering with your local advocacy group is to be an advocate, to advocate for the things that are needed, to make sure that we have safe means of transportation and help policy changes, all to make and help create safe places to walk and bike. So being an advocate, as an LCI, I am an advocate. I'm always advocating for infrastructure changes. And most of our advocacy organizations are also doing that. They're also working with city government or local government to improve the roadway. So again, you're marketing yourself as a knowledgeable person. We do, because of our training, we understand the rules of the road and how to navigate them safely. And we know what a safe road looks like for a bicyclist. So again, partnering with your local advocacy organization, you can get involved with other opportunities like distributing lights. That's what Operation Illumination is, being able to give lights for those that don't have lights, and maybe navigating their bicycles at night. So again, so many things that go on here locally, but again, connect with your local advocacy organization as an LCI to see what opportunities await you. Next slide, please. Again, Here we do an event. You can see we're set up to do open streets, and that's a great event. In your city, it might be called a ciclovia or whatever. It may be something else where you shut down the streets for a number of miles, but making it accessible for bicyclists as well as walkers and skateboarders and rollerbladers, everybody basically to get out and have fun. But as the LCI, it's important for me to be a part of these to make sure that what we are doing, especially like I said, I work in the kids zone, so making sure what we are doing in my participation as an instructor are getting kids to do it properly. Next slide, please. And again, some more photos from our trike zone. Again, there are various events that we do locally through our advocacy organization. There's bike counts where you can volunteer your time and get out and do what's called bike counts to see how many bikes are utilized in a certain area. And again, all that information is relevant as an advocate to help your local organization. Next slide, please. And this is where I really, I think I have I have the most fun because as an LCI, what I get to do is be involved with people. I love interacting with people, especially with young people. So I'm always involved in something in my community. But as an LCI, as the lead instructor or as a lead cycling or certified instructor in my community, I've had the opportunity to be involved and create what's called a slow roll. I believe my colleague Diana in Cleveland does a very large slow roll, but it's really an opportunity to help create the bicycling culture. I consider myself to be early in my coaching life. I consider myself to be a cyclist. Now I'm a person who rides a bike because I recognize as a cyclist, when you say that term, it usually refers to people that are wearing Lycra and have on the spandex. I wear that too, but there's a whole community of people that don't necessarily feel they want to put those clothes on or feel like, why do I have to do it? I just want to ride my bike and I want to have fun. And that's a great opportunity for you as an LCI to market your expertise and get out there and create a bicycle ride in your community. If you don't want to create a bicycle ride like something like a slow roll, which really is an opportunity to welcome all people that want to ride bicycles. It's a very opportunity to get to see the diversity of people who want to ride. It's a great opportunity to create a healthy activity in your community. And it's a really great opportunity to really socialize and bring people together, to have fun and see and relive the joy of bicycling that they remember as a kid. It's not about going fast. It's not about, who's got the nicest bike. It's just showing up with your bicycle and doing something that's really fun. And as an LCI, I get great pleasure in bringing that to my community. I also have connected with organizations such as Children's Hospital or UPMC, which is here in Pittsburgh, to actually get helmets. Most of the time, you can get free helmets from organizations. I'm not sure what that organization may be in your city, but here I've been able to get helmets and distribute helmets because often in the state of Pennsylvania, children under 16 are required to wear a helmet. So safety is paramount in everything that I do, whether I'm working with youth or adults. So helmet distribution, we've been able to do that, just literally setting up a stand, like a lemonade stand and a bike stand, and just going and really going into the community and saying, hey, I'll be here every Saturday from 2 to 4. Bring your bike. We can fix flats. We can work on your bike. But more importantly, I want you to have a helmet, as well as possibly distribute lights for those that don't have them, right? I've also been part of connecting with our local bicycle co-op, as well as right now in the process of creating a bike co-op. I'm not a mechanic, but being a person who rides a bike, I have many bikes, and taking your bike to the shop can be expensive. So as an LCI, we're not focused on the mechanical part, but I think it is important that you know the parts of your bike and how to fix them, right? So Bike Road, I've been part of setting up a co-op where we distribute bikes or we loan bikes out for people that don't have bikes. So right now, I'm fortunate to have a community that's very giving. And now that I've made my presence known in the community with our slow roll. People know I'm the bike guy, right? So if you got bikes for donation, see Coach Neil, and we have bikes, and kids, when they show up on our slow roll, they don't have a bike, we give them a bike to use. And after, actually, we want to promote biking. So what we do after about 3 or 4 rides that you've continually come and you have come with your parent, we will give you a bicycle. We want you to keep riding, ride safe. So we can do things like bicycle rodeos as well. So there's so many things I think that you can do in your community to enhance bicycling and really bring it to a place where you're creating culture and you're creating a safe environment for other to rise. But you as the LCI are the expert, and you have an opportunity to make an impact and really push forward the message of bicycling for the future. We know it's sustainable. We know it's good for the environment, but we want to really create opportunities for people to get on a bicycle and feel safe about bicycling. And that's one of the things I take pride in, making sure that when we're putting people on bikes, we're doing it the right way. I'm using my experience as an LCI, the things I've learned over the year, as well as my colleagues who also have techniques and practices that I'm often stealing from them and implementing where around. See Diana nodding her head. Yeah, just really implementing those practices when I can. So next slide. So again, I've done everything from bike giveaways. You can see there's a slide here where we got a donation of bikes, and we just really decided we were going to have kids come out. But I don't like just giving bikes away. I want to connect you to a program. So when you come and get a bike, we're making sure you're riding it safely and you're not just taking this bike. So we did create a program where kids would come and participate in this 2-week program. And at the end of it, they got to earn a bike. And that's what you're seeing in one photo. As well as the middle photo, we have like kind of like a bike rodeo situation. And then on the right-hand side, we have kids that are part of our slow roll. So again, these are just examples of the things you're able to do as an LCI. I would also encourage you as an LCI, as you market yourself, to definitely be familiar with opportunities in your community, organizations, and I've been partnered with organizations like Performance Bicycle, REI, who also offer classes, and I've all been able to teach classes for them. But those connections can be vital as you market yourself and become the bike expert or the bike professional in your community. So again, I'm going to turn it back over to Riley. I thank you for you guys listening. And again, if you have any questions, drop in the chat box and we'll do our best to answer them. Riley, back in your court.
Thank you. Thank you all for this inspiring and informative presentation. Before turning to questions, I want to give a quick reminder that we have more great webinars coming up. They are all free and made available on YouTube, on our YouTube channel after each presentation. You can find a full schedule on our website. The next webinar is on August 20th, and we'll be addressing solutions for speed management with the National Transportation Safety Board. Register today to be reminded about the webinar as it approaches. And if you'd like to contact any of today's speakers, here is the info to do so. We're going to switch over to Q&A now, so I'm going to stop screen sharing, but I'll throw this slide up again at the end of the presentation or at the end of the Q&A in case you didn't have a chance to copy down somebody's email. You need that. But yeah, let's turn over to questions. Okay. So let's see. I would be using LCI for rodeos, education, and local schools. Would I need to send in waivers for each kid to the league? Do any of you want to take that, or do you want me to address that?
Well, if you're listing it as a class, absolutely, you should collect those waivers and turn them in. It protects you. Again, you've gone through the steps, you've posted the class, you've taught the need to knows, you've done all of the requirements. Yes, I would, because you just never know. And we have these mechanisms in place, for example, the insurance, so you might as well avail yourself of that and, err on the side of caution and send in those waivers.
I will add also, if you have a sign-in sheet, I think a sign-in sheet should be necessary along with the waivers, so that everyone who is participating in the event must sign into the event as well as sign the waiver. I definitely, every event that I'm involved with, yes, I do use waivers as well as a sign-in sheet. And I think Diana mentioned earlier in the seminar, you must, as an LCI, if you're doing an event or a class or an activity, it has to be posted on the league's website in order for you to be covered by the league's insurance. And yeah, you have to take all three of those steps.
And I'll just mention that if you are handling registration through the league's registration system, the waiver is built in. So people sign the waiver when they sign up for the class if you're using our registration system. Otherwise, you want to make sure that you're having those paper waivers. Here's a good one. Is there a difference between a league cycling coach and a league cycling instructor?
Absolutely. You must become an instructor. That's the first thing. And then after the guidelines, which the league will consider, could be a number of years or hours teaching, as well as, so maybe so many hours you have taught, as well as so many years you have taught. But at the end of the day, there needs to be a recommendation, a request from a coach to the league saying, I believe this person, I've worked with this person, I think they're qualified, and I believe they're ready to become a coach. Now, I would also say there is a huge difference. Again, in the beginning, we were introduced as trainer of trainers, and that's the best way to describe what a coach does. A coach is the person that does the 3-day seminar that trains trainers, that basically certifies you to become an instructor. So there is a difference, mostly experience. It doesn't mean I'm the smartest guy in the room, though. What I'm really good at is giving this material, which I believe and stand by, that the league, their curriculum, the guidelines, and all those things. I've considered myself to be one of the coaches that do this well. So as a coach, yeah, you have an opportunity to inspire, as Diana said, motivate and encourage others, not only in the classroom, but also, as I talked about, in your community and working with local advocacy organizations.
Thank you all. For people with any sort of physical limitations who may have difficulty cycling long distances, like to know if the LCI program and the league allow e-bikes in their classes.
Yes. E-bikes are now allowed, legal e-bikes that have not been altered and or changed in any way beyond what the manufacturer has sold you, are allowed into the LCI seminar and smart cycling classes. And the league also, under their education piece, has a wonderful series of slides, presentations, which was done with People for Bikes, and it speaks specifically to e-bike safety, e-bike maintenance, how to use the road properly, the different classifications, etc. So it's really worth going onto the league website under the education and looking that up and participating in those slides. And there's a little test at the end to see how much you've retained from that as well.
For that. For people who are already LCIs, could you share a little bit about how you went from being an LCI to being a coach, what that process looks like, just for people to get some insight into into what that looks like and how they can set themselves up to potentially be one of the limited roster of coaches that we're able to have to ensure that every one of our coaches is at least doing 1 or 2 seminars a year.
So to become a lead cycling coach, as Neil stated, you will have to be recommended. But the process is you go through the recommendation. After you receive a recommendation, the director of education, which is Allison, will reach out to you to see if you are a qualified candidate. Because I recently went through this process, it's still fresh in my mind. But once you are considered a good candidate, there is a step that you have to go through. One of them is like the code of ethics. To become a lead coach, you will have to teach twice with a coach. You will also need to start speaking with a person that is currently a coach and get under their wing, and also start assisting LCI seminars. You will start to understand the process that goes through that the process of going through the LCI seminar, assisting your coach, knowing what the coaches is looking for. You will also be, if you are a qualified candidate, you will be sent information on what to do when assisting a seminar to coaching a seminar. So for instance, for me, I wasn't quite ready to be a coach, but it was like, you're going to be a coach. You're going to be a coach. So I assisted him in several LCR seminar classes. And then I also assisted with Leta as well. And then once that application went through, then they were assessing me. So I would teach the first or second day. I will provide feedback to what I see from the candidates during the seminar. And then eventually I was able to teach 2 seminars, one co-assisted and one completely led by me. And then from there, I received an assessment from Leta and Neil. They were completely honest. So don't be upset if you're completely comfortable with a coach. Don't get upset. They want you to be the best because you're going to be the educator of all educators at this point. So take the feedback, take the criticism. It is so worth it. I feel like being with Leta has made me so much more organized, so much more punctual, and going through all the information with a fine-tooth comb. And then also with Neil, being with him, I learned so much about what to look for when it comes to road testing and doing the parking lot drills, and also trying to find my groove as a coach. All of us are different. All of our teaching styles are different. And so having that approach and going into the seminar with an open heart, open mind, and knowing that there are people who are starting off just like you to become a lead cycling instructor, and also becoming a coach, would make sure you get those hours in teaching. Make sure you get those hours in giving feedback to others, working with your local LCIs, working with your local bike or pedestrian organization, and once again, reaching out to a coach to see if they need you as an assistant. And if they do, they're going to utilize you. So make sure you understand the way that they work, understand what they are needing from you, because once again, they're going to be the one to say, yes, I highly recommend this person, or no, this person is not quite ready.
I just want to touch on that it's best if you reach out specifically to Allison first, because there are limited spots for coaches in training. So it's great if you have an existing relationship with a coach, but it really needs to go to league staff to determine whether that's going to be a seminar that we're going to be able to put someone in as a coach in training. Is there a cost associated with completing the prerequisites or attending a seminar?
So yes, there is a cost to attending the seminar, and on the application page, when you register for a seminar, it does state the fee. I believe it is now $500 to enroll in the LCI seminar. There are scholarship opportunities available, sometimes through the league. It could be an organization you're a member of, or a civic organization or advocacy group that may support you through the process of taking the LCI seminar. The seminar that I taught in May had several candidates who were sponsored by their organizations and bike advocacy groups. So there is opportunity for that.
Is there a directory of LCIs? How can people locate league cycling instructors in their community?
Great question. Yes, there is a directory located on the league's website. So go to bikeleague.org. If you scroll down halfway on the website, there is a little tab, or at the top of the website, you can see find an instructor or a class. Once you get to that link, you can enter the state that you're in, or you can do it by zip code. Once you do that information, it'll give you all the LCIs within that area. It doesn't necessarily give you it doesn't necessarily pinpoint if they're exactly in your neighborhood, but it'll tell you who is in your state as a lead cycling instructor. And then if the LCI enter their information correctly in the portal, then you can determine if they're close to you or not. So for example, I'm here in Ohio. I am located in Cleveland. Somebody's looking for an LCI in Cleveland. Enter Cleveland, Ohio, and then we'll start to populate first under Cleveland. Once, if you're in Cincinnati, then it'll start to populate starting with Cincinnati. And that's how you can find an instructor near you.
Thanks, Diane. And I just posted the bikeleague.org/map in the chat, which is you can go straight to the page. But make sure you're scrolling down past the map where the drop downs are, because we're not putting people's individual addresses on the map proper, but they are all the LCIs in that area will be. So here's a question for y'all, and I'll preface it first and foremost by saying that the league does not specify a specific rate that LCI should be charging for their time. We do encourage them to charge, but so I guess the question would be, how do you determine what to charge for your time, given that we as the league we recognize there are a variety of different economic circumstances across the country. How do you navigate knowing what is appropriate to charge for a given service?
I'd like to take this one first. I'm going to say, because I have lived in 3 different places in the last so many years, I think there's extenuating circumstances. I think there's opportunities where you may be working with an organization that may have funding, right? And you can maybe offer your services for free because they may compensate you for your time. There's other situations where I may, given the circumstances, working with a local bike organization like Bike Pittsburgh, there may be a rate that they are willing to pay instructors, right? And that rate can range from $15 an hour as much as $35 to $40 an hour, as well as you may be doing private lessons, which I've charged as much as $75 an hour for private lessons. But what I want to do is stay competitive and also don't want to price myself out of a client. So whatever the local bike advocacy organization is charging for classes or for lessons, I usually match that. I'll come alongside with them because I want to partner with them. I don't want to be a competition. So I would also say, know your community. Again, if we're talking dollars, since we're talking about a business, you may want to know, with the finance, it's totally different in a low income area than in an area that's with a higher medium income, right? So that may also, your scale may vary. Maybe you can charge a little bit more because maybe people could afford a bit more. I think your time is valuable. So I think it really requires you figuring out what are those circumstances, how you're going to become it. I think when Leta talked about figure out your plan, what those things, that's part of how you will charge your rate. That has been my experience. I've done classes for free, then I've also been able to charge a certain rate. Certain corporations also, when there's opportunity, when I've done lunch and learns, corporations were able to pay a lot more than an individual could pay. So it's varying circumstances, but know your worth. This certification, you are an educator in bicycle. It's no different than if you had a law degree or if you were a doctor. You're an expert in this field. So know your worth.
That was great. Thank you, Neil. And I guess we'll just close out with one more because we're getting close to time. How can communities better support cycling educators and promote cycling culture?
I think it's a matter of them wanting to hold events, advertise, and just rain or shine, participate in those community events or block parties or ciclovias or whatever the event is called in your area. And then encouraging LCIs to join, them and work with them. It's worked well for New Haven Coalition for Active Transportation. Many instances, we've partnered with local communities and organizations that want to have a tent or a little bicycle rodeo for their students, and we will support them.
Can I add a little something too? As I talked about looking at your local advocacy organization, yes, I'm an educator, but I'm also an advocate because I want to see streets that are safe to ride on. You may, as an LCI, I'm very much involved in advocacy work at the local level as well as the state level. So again, when we talk about how to get the message out, if you're actively involved with a local advocacy organization in your community, as well as if you really are passionate about bicycling, I think the two come together. I'm not sure as a coach and with years of experience, I've been involved with many projects that really change the dynamic of a city. We're watching cities being transformed with more bike lanes and trails. So that did not just happen magically. That's because people have a voice. So when you want to see your community change, be that voice for change.
Powerful words to wrap up with. I once again want to thank our presenters today, Diana Hildebrand, Leta Marie Highsmith, and Neil Walker. Inspiring to hear about the important work that y'all are doing, and it's a pleasure hearing from you on this topic. Please join us for future webinars. If you have any questions that we weren't able to get to, our contact information is there. Thank you everyone for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your week. Take care.